Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 130, which is like 13 times 10, so this must be our best episode yet. I'm your Dungeon Master, Luke, and joining me are my players, whose names are as follows.
Hi, my name is Ben, and I play the level 7 gnome wizard, Windsor Wallaby, along with his cuddly little companion, Mr. Wiggles.
Wiggles. Meow.
Yes.
Hello, everyone. It's me, Carla, and I play the level 7 Tiefling Roguelock, Integrity, Idleberry. So here's Integrity's wish, her soaking warlock list, both for herself and for a world in need. No more limbs torn apart, the dreams would never start. And no more stealing hearts.
Oh my god.
Waving our lighters. Hi, I'm Sarah, and I play Mira Marchand, the level 7 half-elf bard. Keep sea, baby. I follow you. Keep sea, baby.
You're gonna go nowhere fast.
Well, the rest of the song doesn't go that way, so it wouldn't be funny.
And my name is Sam, and I play the level 7 human sorceress Serenep Cinderman. Come join us as I face my greatest fears. Not death, not the potentiality of the universe, but mimics and my parents.
Yes! I love mimics. And last time on Trials and Trebuchets, the students climbed up to the crow loft in the old chapel and confronted the many warlock-seeking blackbirds that had been stalking Integrity for weeks. Gaining no useful info from these idiot birds, Integrity kicked the golden chest emblazoned with her initials and awakened the keeper of the list of warlocks, a mimic, who freaked the shit out of Serenep and everyone else in attendance too. Learning of the rich warlock heritage at Wildcliff School of the Arcane, Integrity signed her name in the list and pledged to take steps to resist the influence of her patron, the progenitor. And that's pretty much it. That's all that happened, really. And so now we can do one of two things, everyone. We can either pick up directly from there if there was stuff you wanted to attend to right immediately away. If you recall, before you had gone into the into the crow loft, you had found there was like this little crawl space in the old chapel hallway. You don't have to deal with that right now. You can literally wait until like after Autumn's End is over and everything else is sorted to deal with that if you'd like. And we can just go on to doing whatever you're going to do for the next week. It's kind of up to you. Tell me what you guys want to do right now, please.
I think we can probably do the crawl space thing later, but that's just my immediate instinct. I'm not married to that.
Yeah.
I'm okay with us moving forward to moving forward with the Autumn's End fiasco that's going to come up probably.
I think so as well. Just because
like there's no
things
urgency,
keep on
there's
getting
no
added
emergencies.
onto. So like the more that we do the things that we have already thought of, that might be like a good idea. Even like as characters.
The crawl space exists, however, it will be explored eventually.
It'll be there when you're ready for it.
I will say,
Yes, you'll say things.
just wherever, I just want to make note that I want to go and pick up my sweetling and bring it to my room and put it in front of a window or something like that to like give it something. I don't know.
Okay. Yes, this can be achieved easily. So you all leave the crow loft through ambiguous and abstract means. You exit from the old chapel after this in-character, probably like 5-minute, 10-minute conversation, which in our world has taken hours of our lives. And you can head back. You can either go get dinner or do whatever. It's not of importance. Serenep, you make your way across campus and get the large pot that has your sweetling, lovely planted in it. I don't know why I said the word lovely there. It didn't really fit, but it
is a lovely sweetling.
It's the lovely little sweetling planted in there. And it's this green barked, or it's not bark yet, this green stalked tree or small sapling. It has these silvery purple leaves on it, similar to what the Loft of Elders resembled. But you can grab that and cart it back to your room. and all of you can go get dinner, all of this type of stuff. If I recall properly, Mira Marchand, you had made plans
I have a date.
to meet. Yes. What's going on there? Why don't you tell me about what happens with that?
Date
Or
night,
if,
date
and
night.
if you wanted to make that into a whole scene, we can do that. If you just want to have it happen, you can do that. But please just tell me about it.
Yeah, I think like Mira and Delnos probably like meet up in like Mira's dorm or something. And I think the first thing that happens is Mira just like telling Delnos about all of the insane events that have happened over the previous like 24 hours. Full transparency there, obviously. I think that they
Okay.
chat and keep up, and I think that Mira probably talks to Delnos a little bit to like see if they're just like get her take on like how the school's been, because there might be some incongruities there of like Delnos being like, yeah, well, everybody knows that the enchantment department's over there, just some things like that, or like, I'm friends with this person, just little things that might be
Yeah.
picked up on. And I think the two spend
My
a
worst
very-
enemy, Penny.
You never know, and I think they have
Okay.
a quiet but nice evening in.
Give me an insight check, please.
Yeah.
To pick up on anything that might be, because I don't think you're being heavy-handed about this. You are trying to be kind of
No.
subtle, because I assume you want to avoid a Fadan situation, right?
Yeah, I don't want Delnos to explode. It's more just like listening for
A noble act.
if she says anything that would be unfamiliar to unfamiliar to me.
Okay.
Well,
Insight check, please.
yeah. Well, I rolled a 2 plus 3, so that is a 5.
Oh, I love that all of Mira's social grace just goes out the window as soon as Dallas is involved. It's very good.
Yeah.
Okay. In that case, you tell her about the entire Isithil ordeal, right?
I do, yes.
Okay. And do you give her any information on Artis?
I think Mira would probably bring up that he's been pebbled, even as a like, do you know anything we can do about this? Because that might be something that she knows about. So I can see her focusing on that. Yeah.
Okay. I think that something that you can glean just from talking about this is she seems like you have an overwhelming feeling that she's kind of like telling her like the situation that went down in Isithil with Ferdinand and that whole thing. You get a air. She doesn't say anything specifically, but you do get an air of like almost as if she's minorly impressed either with how you handled things or just the heroics involved there. Is how you read that situation.
Okay, then. That's Mira's read on the situation, and I will take that into consideration.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. Regarding Pebble stuff, I think she would be stumped by this, and she would say something along the lines of, "I can't say that I know anything about anything like that, like storing souls or anything in inanimate objects. It sounds up the alley of someone in necromancy. I know there's things that you can do to store your soul in case you die, but nothing like permanent changing of like where your soul is stored, like taking it out of a body and putting it somewhere else."
I think Mira would make a mental note then to speak to, she still already needs to speak to Professor Alaro for a lot of reasons, but I think she's adding another reason to her list in this moment.
Okay. Is there any like lighthearted topics you talk about with her, or is it just kind of like, here's the business? And additionally, sorry, because I didn't even answer your initial reason of the insight. Sorry. Everything seems like this is just the Mira, or you're the Mira. What? This just seems like the Delness that you would have expected to have met. There's no like references to like, oh, this thing is weird, right? Like it's neither. She's not referencing anything like, oh, that's kind of weird and missing, right? Like, for example, the missing tower or anything else that might be incongruous. But she's also not, like, she's not mentioning those incongruities, but she's also not acting in a way that you would expect someone who was like, does that make sense? That's a kind of difficult way of explaining
I think I get what you're saying. Okay.
Yeah. She's not like a starkly different Delness where she's like, I'm in the transmutation department or something like that. Like something completely wild, right?
Okay.
Like she seems like the regular Delness, but just adapted to this kind of world, as it were.
Okay,
This
cool.
potentiality.
Imagine a non-goth Delness
No, I don't want
I don't
to.
like that. I don't like that, Ben. It's the exact opposite. She like dresses in pastels all the
Oh,
time,
that-
but she's like really moody.
Oh.
Oh my god.
And then instead
no.
of bunnies, it's bats.
This is just an
yeah.
Adventure Time character.
But is there anything lighthearted that you talk to her, or are you just like business mode, Mira?
What I think well, the way I think I'm imagining it going is sort of Mira being like, here's all of the stuff that happened, blah, blah, blah. I think they're probably like a little bit quiet and chill together. And I think they sort of later sort of are able to transition into talking about like more lighthearted topics.
Okay.
I think they're probably going to talk about like the festival coming up and like, oh, how are you excited for the duel part? Like, is your team having any plans? Like, who are you hoping that you come up against? Sort of things like that of just like, this is going to be fun, right?
Yeah. I'm not really excited for the dueling per se. I think they posted the tournament's bracket down by dining hall earlier today. I don't know if you saw that.
No, I didn't.
Yeah. Like the same place they posted the exam results. I'm not super, I mean, Mira, you've seen me in like precarious situations. It's not exactly my area of skill.
No,
to
I mean, I'm not really
fight
a
with people.
fighter either. I mean, if you remember last time. Oh, and I was so embarrassed because like you were watching and I like really wanted to impress you. Oh, that was so embarrassing. It will, at least now we know if both of us do really badly in the duel, at least we're not going to embarrass ourselves because
And
I'm
then
still
we'll
going to
have
cheer
more-
you on.
Yeah. We'll have like free time to spend with each other while like the festival is going on because there's like vendors and stuff that come to campus. It's not just like regular school stuff. And we can like, yeah, we can go spend time together if both of us get knocked out early.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh.
Oh, do you have like anyone else like coming to visit you for the
Yeah,
festival stuff?
Yeah, my mom's coming.
Oh, that's cool.
She looks like she clams up a moment, Mira. Either just nervously, I think, and will ask like, "Do you want? I know you have bad interactions with my dad. Do you want to meet her?"
Do you want me to? I mean, I would be happy to meet any other family members of yours if you want me to, but if it's a thing where you don't, I totally get that too. Like, I think it'd be cool, but it's not like, my parents are definitely going to want to meet you, because they're very enthusiastic about that kind of stuff like that. So they'll definitely want to, say hi when they find out you exist and all of that.
Have you not told your parents that?
I haven't
dating
really
me?
been telling them anything because I haven't really written to them lately because I've been very focused on other stuff. It wasn't a you
Make
thing.
a deception check. Make a deception check. Do not try to slide that by.
13. Wait, that's a straight 13 plus something. 13, what is my deception? Plus 7, non-natural 20.
Holy shit. Okay.
Holy crap.
Delnus nods along. If we could see like the little thought bubble she just sees like we would see like Snake biting arm off and then like the entire like events of like what happened from what you described in Isithil, and she kind of like nods along with that and goes, yeah. I would like you to meet my mom. I mean, I don't see her very often, so I don't know. I have a better relationship with her than my dad, so
Oh, that's
I would,
good. I
Yeah.
would love to meet her in that case.
Yeah. And I'd love to meet they are coming, right? Like your family?
They're
Your
almost. Oh yeah, they're definitely gonna come. They'll be here. I'm assuming it will just be my parents that will be here, but yeah, you'll definitely get a chance to meet them.
Okay. Cool. Well, now I'm a lot more nervous about it than I was like this morning, but
Oh, me too.
Like-
I hope your mom likes me.
I hope so too.
Thanks.
And she looks very apprehensive about that.
Yeah.
Don't mention music to her.
Oh, I'll probably be doing a lot of that this autumn's end, so you got it.
Yeah. But I mean, like, it's fine to like do it, and she like gestures with her hands and like exaggerates it. Like, it's fine to like do it and everything, but if when I introduce you to her and don't like harp on it.
No,
You
I
know?
get it. No, I'll just harp on the harp. I got it. Don't worry.
Yeah, and a tender and lighthearted conversation continues from that
Yes.
point onwards.
Perfect.
And that's the night. Were the rest of you doing anything major? Serenep, you, I assume, were just like setting up your sweetling so that it was like getting the allotted amount of light, maybe picking up like a book from the archives on like plant care.
Oh yeah, 100%. Serenep would be like looking, because like she's never had like a plant that she's had to take care of herself before, so it's like, okay, let's learn how to do this stuff. I'm like, she would go to dinner and everything with any of the group who would decide to go.
Yep.
Does she notice Philip anywhere?
Yeah, I think Philip would be sitting all at the table, or like most of the first years are here. Importantly, to point out, the group of first years who belong to the mentor group of one Dessa are still absent, which you would recall, if you recall, when you had returned from Isithil, their packs and everything were not on that. There was like a small trolley or like rack that had all of your like field equipment, and everyone else had like essentially returned their things, but the like bright red packs and like steel cages of Dessa's group had not yet been returned. So either they're staying for a prolonged period or something bad happened again, but hopefully the former. It's up to you to make that
I think there was, I think with Serenep, it would be like, I think I remember someone saying, remember Karina or someone saying something about like they were going to do more stuff. Like we were only supposed to be there for like a day.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. And that kind of tracks, seeing as they're doing like stuff like magical zoology and all of these other things. It might, the estimated time of the field trip might quickly be surpassed, right? Just in case, like if they couldn't find things, they would stay a bit longer, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, other than those four, which is Karina, Ira, Murundine, and the wonderful Veldin, other than those four, all the other first years are here and would be present in dining hall. And maybe not Mira, because she would be hanging out with Delnus, but Winsler and Integrity, you are also here if you want to be. But Serenep, you do see Philip. He has a small plate of food. What food are they serving at dining hall, everyone?
They have some roasted turkey in there.
Yeah.
There's large roasted turkeys. Turkeys the size of like small sheep. Like huge turkeys.
Jesus.
Damn. Like I for some reason I'm imagining like a sort of like Thanksgiving-esque, because it is autumn's end coming up soon. So it's like, hey, your family isn't here yet, but here's like fresh harvest, like vegetables. And we made potatoes. That kind of
what
stuff.
about if there's pumpkins?
Pumpkin
there
pie.
likely would be pumpkin.
Can we have like pumpkin soup inside pumpkins? Like that's how
Yes.
they
Oh,
serve
I love
it.
That's so good.
I love it.
That's cute. That's very
This is
cute.
the one
Okay.
time they do a theme for their dinners.
I'm picturing there's like some like half orc somewhere who's like has this like giant pumpkin that they're
A
like,
very large pumpkin.
drinking and guzzling from.
Oh hell yeah.
Jesus.
Oh my god.
I also imagine that there's like nice fresh dinner rolls or something as well, right? Like very hot off the press, as it were. But anyway,
and cranberries.
and cranberries, lots of cranberries.
Hell, I
Just
can't
very
forget that because we don't
autumnal
want dry
foods.
turkey in here.
Philip Serenep is sipping from a very, very small gourd, some pumpkin soup. He seems to be very like methodically drinking it, or slurping at it, I guess. Do you say drinking soup? Right. That's right.
If
You
he's
say
not using
if
you're not using a spoon, you're kind of slurping it.
Yeah. He's using the spoon and like eating it slurpy. He's eating soup. Okay, everyone. He's eating soup. Imagine
eating soup.
He's eating soup. Okay, stop asking.
No one was
The
asking.
details don't matter.
You're not allowed
Jesus.
to correct us.
Oh my god.
Whoa.
Actually,
It's called
you need to.
slurping soup.
So yeah, he's eating some fucking soup.
Because like we've been missing apparently for an extra day or two apparently.
Yeah, something like
So
that.
it
Yes.
might be a good idea to be like, hey guys, we are
Yeah.
alive and back.
Yeah, you stop in. He seems to be happy to see you, Serenep, and will wave to you as you all sit down. Did you want to say anything specific, or just see that he's okay? He seems to be in the same. Make an insight check
Okay.
if you want to see how he is, because I assume that's the intent here.
Yeah,
right?
I kind of want to understand the timeline, I guess.
Oh.
Because just to understand, like, because obviously the golems are back, but does that
Yeah.
mean what happened never happened, or does that mean?
Oh no, yeah. As you walk, okay, we can answer that question. No need for a
Oh, okay.
roll in
I will.
that
I will
case,
put the dice
Serenep.
back.
Yeah, put that thing back where you found
Put
it.
the dice.
Bite
Put the
back.
bite. When you walk into dining hall, Serenep, flanked by your friend Winsler and your friend Integrity, your cousin Integrity,
My friend
and make
cousin.
your friend cousin, your frozen, to the first year's kind of like table. You see the one and only Philip, very much Timothée Chalamet looking, and drinking some soup, eating some soup,
Hell yeah.
as we've previously established.
Consuming soup.
He consumes it, and he looks at you, and he has these very yellow eyes,
Okay.
similar to what he had after, or not similar, the same eyes he had after you had brought him to the infirmary when he had collapsed from that fever.
Okay.
So it would appear that, yes, that still has happened in this potentiality.
Okay.
And he'll say, hey,
Hey.
how are you? Did you just get back? Did the three of you just get back?
Yeah,
Is
we.
that blood all over your clothes?
Uh-oh.
Y'all, did we just walk into the dining hall with just? Did we not change our clothes?
There's like a bunch of people
There's
fighting
beetroots.
outside and
Beetroots. There's
Oh.
beetroots.
There's a bunch of people fighting beetroots outside.
Yes.
That sounds really plausible for like the three of you. That sounds
Yeah.
Anything can happen at Wildcliff.
Yeah, I heard it was a project gone wrong. You know, the living
I'm
beetroots and
also
everything.
doing.
the living beetroots. So it
I
is
think-
actual blood, but just from beetroots.
Yes.
Okay.
But don't smell it.
Yes.
Don't come near us.
I don't want to.
Yeah, we. Yeah,
Just the sight of it has really just turned my stomach.
we.
But how are you all actually though? Like,
we. Yeah, we're back.
yeah, I can see
Um,
that with my two good eyes, and he'll like point at them almost jovially. They glint. They're very yellow, Serenep. Like Philip did not used to have yellow eyes.
Okay.
They're super yellow. You feel the you just like think back on that day that you saw him slip over that railing.
Oh,
and,
shit.
And
Yes. The guilt is palpable.
yeah, the guilt is palpable.
So you're just coming by. I was coming to say a quick hello before
Mhm.
I went and put stuff away from our trip.
Okay.
Just wanted to
Fun.
say hi to my wonderful friends. She's gonna turn to the other two and say, "My brain has turned off. Help!"
Is Dessa's team back? Have you seen Dessa's team back?
Philip looks to the other like first years, and there seems to be like a couple of shaken heads. Alina is here, seemingly banished from the dorm room as Mira and Delmas are in there. And Alina will speak up and say, "No, they haven't come back yet. It's been like 3 extra days. Like the 4 of you were gone like an extra 2 days, so that was worrisome as is. But now the others are still gone, but no one seems to be very concerned about it. So maybe that was expected."
Knowing Dessa, I'm pretty sure she might have pushed them to go a little bit longer, get all the samples, I guess, or whatever it is the hell they were doing.
Whatever the fuck it was.
I wasn't really paying attention to them that much.
I think they were supposed to be there a couple of extra days anyway, and obviously we got held up, so most likely they also got held up by the same thing.
Oh, what
But-
happened? Philip says.
There was a blizzard.
lot. Yeah.
Oh, there was no blizzard by the time we left. Was it bad?
It happened
What
real
does
fast.
a blizzard look like in Issathil?
Gray.
Dark.
Sad.
Very sad.
That's kind of disappointing. I expected it to be like really vibrant and not just wintry.
Oh, were you
Yeah.
still there when it like dimmed and like you've always seen the flying
The
flying
elder, yeah.
elder.
Yeah.
Did you ever see the flying elder disappear?
No, by the time like it got dark, but it never got snowy. We were like in like the deep parts of the woods, so we couldn't really see the sky anyways. So I didn't notice if it left. Did it leave? Can it leave? I didn't know it could leave. I thought it was like the sun where it just sat there for all of time.
We thought so too until all of a sudden they disappeared, and we were all like, "Oh no, will this be the death of us?" Or at least that's what I
Oh
thought.
my god! I mean, imagine like a paint tube, but you squeeze the paint tube completely dry of paint, so now it's just all dark on the inside and it's not got any color left.
Wouldn't it always be dark on the inside since there's no light though?
Yeah, I think something happened there with your analogy, Winsler. Sorry.
Yeah, but there's no light in Isithil now.
But there's no light
Like
in
it
a
didn't
paint
get. So is it just going to be winter there until?
I mean, yeah,
don't wanna
until
go
the
there in
elder gets
winter.
back. You know what I mean?
Okay, that's weird.
But
Till
yeah,
they
we
get
were
back
kind
from
of
their coffee
traveling
break.
during that, and we kind of got stuck there for a couple extra days in the dark. So
Okay.
they're probably just navigating
But like
that.
nothing bad happened though, right?
That we
maybe
know of.
no. I don't think like Serenep
go-
is going to is
I
this
love-
something
I love the dichotomy of Mira being like, okay, this is everything that happened. She got her head fucking cut off, and then we came back, and
Well, like-
artist was a pebble.
There's a difference between you're in your dorm room versus you're
Yeah,
in like a public
that's
dining
true.
hall. So Serenep's gonna
That's very
like
true.
kind of lean over and say, stuff did happen.
Oh,
I can tell you about that later if you want, but probably not something that we should talk about in the dining hall. Because
yeah, we can talk about it one of these nights, like while we're studying or
yeah.
something. Yeah.
Yeah.
I have a question.
Yes, Integrity Idleberry, level 6, 7.
In that
Tiefling
table, which Lindman is sitting there?
Angelica Lindman is sitting right there.
Okay,
She
so
seems to
wait,
be
what?
Really adoring this
Did
conversation
Karina
that's
get
happening.
fucking Thanos?
Oh my
That was my
God.
question because it was like we used to have like Lindman and Lindman, the law attorney at firm in the fucking building, and now there's only
True.
one of them. So it's like
There
either
is
one of
only
them got
one.
booted
Yeah.
or one of them were Thanos, but apparently they're both still here. So yeah. Okay.
Angelica Lindman is sitting there. She has a very happy looking expression on her face. She also seems pretty pleased to see you though, Serenep.
Yeah,
Because
friend.
you are her friend.
Yes.
Is there anything else that y'all wanted to do, or can we just
Time flash forward. Whee. Oh, sorry.
Before we
Yes.
leave,
Yes.
or even like before we came in, would I have been able to check the list outside the dining hall?
You would have, yeah. So the aforementioned list, the one that Delnus mentioned in a scene you were not privy to, the tournament bracket for Autumn's End was posted, and it's on this big board, like announcement board outside of dining hall in a pretty prominent place, so that it's like difficult to miss. Standing next to it, when you
Were there
all...
neon signs around it? Like,
No,
the
there
list is
wasn't
here.
neon. There wasn't neon signs, but
Do they have a mascot?
Oh God.
the on the thing on the announcement board where the like there's the bracket, there's a regular looking tournament bracket that you would see in like a sporting event or some such thing, and at the very top it says the 954 RA Wildcliff School of the Arcane Dueling Tournament presented by Crow Mercantile Corporation, official tournament bracket.
Cool.
God.
Oh my gosh.
And like the text seems to be illuminated in this yellowish green kind of ink. Like it is ink, but it seems to give off some sort of luminance in the darkness, because it's like late evening now. And standing next to the announcement board is something you might have only seen like 2 or 3 times at your time at Wildcliff, but it's this metallic looking golem. It's humanoid and probably like 5'6" It's completely smooth surfaced, and not like the Jeeds where it's made of like these rectangular pieces of stone. This looks like a genuine like almost like a like the kind of doll that you use to sketch. Does that make sense?
Oh yeah.
Like the little wooden doll with like pivoting joints and everything. It looks like that, except made of like stone and brass, and has like a yellow gem in its forehead, and it's just standing there like silent, like a sentinel next to the tournament bracket. Did you want to look at it though? Was there anything you wanted to know about it?
Well, I wanted to see who we will be going against first, because
Okay.
I'm assuming that that's like the like that's what's written, and then it will get changed over time, like,
Yeah.
about who wins and stuff.
Yep.
So who we're competing against, and the other two teams that are fighting before it ends up fighting us if
Okay.
we win.
So the way that the like bracketing works is all of the first years, like there's 4 first year teams, so 2 of you will duel and 2 of you will duel, right? And then whoever wins from that will duel, and then so there will be like the best of the first years, right? And then they will
Yes.
go off and face the second years, and so on and so forth, right?
Okay.
And so the
Okay.
first 4 years have 4 teams each. I'm just gonna lay this out so that everyone's like on the same page. So you're going to do 2 duels against people in your own year, right? And then it's kind of like everyone is representing their year from that point. So the first year and second years will duel, third year and fourth years will duel. All of those years have 4 teams each. And then for the 5th through 8th years, so like the upper years, they all have only 2 teams each. But it's the same scenario, right? Where it's just like those 2 teams will duel, and then whoever's wins that will represent those years. So it could reasonably turn into a first year versus eighth year kind of duel scenario in the finals, but that remains to be seen.
That
right?
seems
That's a
unbalanced.
yeah, it does.
Scary.
But to answer your question, Integrity, now that I've done expositing, it will be the 4 of you versus the team of Kurt Orlane, Angelica Lindman, Alina Hollyfield, and Arior Ungtar.
Ooh, interesting.
Mm-hmm. And then meanwhile,
Wait, but that's not.
the team-
Is that right? Is that the right?
yeah.
Oh, for some reason I thought we'd be facing the same team as last time. I have no idea why my assumption was
No.
like that. I do not know why.
I'm
I was
happy
like,
you
it's
don't
gonna be a
have
rematch.
Sarah was out here like, no, Luke, you're wrong.
I have
I
to
was just
fight Marundine.
No, it's a different. They switched up the teams from the spring dueling session.
Good.
Yes.
Oh.
I'm happy I don't
Keep
have to
it
fight
fresh.
Philip. That's nice.
Yeah. Unless his team wins
For now.
Well, Philip's
first
team isn't gonna
round.
win anything, so
We're gonna have a
We
whole
win-
new
we win ours,
Juliet
we're good.
moment.
But here's the thing, Mira / Sarah, the Marun team isn't here, which is who they're paired up to fight or duel against.
Mm.
So if they're not here, presumably
3 teams
Philip's
fight
team
together.
will just progress.
They get a
Oh,
free
yeah,
pass. What the hell?
Yeah, free pass.
Hell.
They got a
Um,
better seed.
Yeah.
So you said
Is there any-
Kurt, Orior,
Yep.
Alina, and
Arior. Yes, he's not a cookie.
Oreo.
Arior, and who's the last
Alina and Angelica.
one? Okay.
Team
Thank
Akia.
Akia. Yes. So you do notice that.
Nice.
Yeah. Is there anything else that you wanted to check?
Not for integrity.
Okay.
Not tonight.
Perfect.
Yeah, we're all good for
Sounds
tonight.
lovely. In that case, unless there was something Winsler was going to do, you just squinted at me like you had a devious plan, Ben.
I was thinking, like, maybe going back, because I haven't been back to my dorm yet.
Yeah.
I don't
it's
remember
true.
where I left Yogg.
Mhm.
I'm going to assume I left them in the room.
Yeah.
So I want to go.
Does
I want to go
Yogg
back to the
even
room
exist in
and
this
see
potentiality?
and see if they're okay, if at all present.
Yeah. That's an interesting dilemma.
Wouldn't Kurt be watching them?
Who knows?
Kurt's in
I
dining
mean,
hall.
if Philip's
Um,
eyes are still yellow,
Mhm.
then it's
That means-
possible that Yogg is still a part of this potentiality.
Yeah.
I just want to. I just want to
Winsler.
confirm because I don't-
Winsler Wallaby. So everyone goes off to their own separate dorm rooms. Serenup, you bring the sweetling home. Integrity sprints up the stairs, like doing that thing where you like run with your hands and legs up the stairs. I presume. Correct me if that's wrong, but I just imagined that's how Integrity would climb stairs.
Integrity knows how to run upstairs.
Okay,
But
sorry.
it gives you extra speed.
Yeah, but you can go faster.
I
you feel
bet
like a
you that
horse.
like she like jumps like three
3 steps at a time.
steps at a time. She's just like
Give me an
extra like
athletics
that.
check. Give me an athletics check.
Oh, okay.
Does she eat
Is it
shit
just
or
3
not?
I got 6.
Total?
1 and
Yikes.
Get a nat 1.
Okay.
No.
So you all separate. You take your separate paths. Winsler and Integrity, you walk peacefully to your respective dormitory building. Integrity says, "See ya," and then tries to start galloping up the stairs 3 steps at a time and eats it after like 2 steps and just like falls, collapses forward onto like the landing.
Ow! I got a scrape on my knee.
Are you okay?
Yeah, but at least now I don't have to be lying about the blood. It is very innocent. My knee
so you're okay then?
hurts.
You're all right?
I think so.
Okay, bye. Have a good night.
I can pull up.
Winsler, you exit the stairwell onto the 3rd floor.
And as Winsler like walks
Yeah.
away, I'm like, oh.
She's fine. She's
I
okay.
need a Band-Aid.
Winsler, as you exit onto the 3rd floor, something clicks again in your brain, which is that you live on the 3rd floor, and you look around and see that this is the old style dormitories, the one where you had gone into Fidan's room.
Your next door neighbors
Oh.
with Fidan.
So you look around for a moment and see no Wallaby or Lane dorm room.
Wait, what?
You don't go to
It seems
school
that
here
your
anymore.
floor does not have your room anymore. Your room's not here.
I'm gonna fucking look.
Kicks open every
You
door.
might tell me
tries
that,
to
but I'm gonna look.
Give me an investigation check.
I'm gonna look.
Winsler's going to break every single door there until he finds his room.
Yeah, wouldn't
Well,
there be
that
like a
was
floor
easy.
plan on the first floor to say, hey,
Yeah.
these are the rooms?
It should be pretty easy because I don't think Winsler's room actually has a fucking lock on the door anymore. If I'm not mistaken, I think it was broken at some point.
What isn't broken in that room?
So, what did you get for your investigation?
I got an 18.
An 18. You look at the 2nd floor. It seems to be reasonably normal. You get irritated. You then climb 2 sets of stairs to the 4th floor, which seems to be the regular 4th floor. It might be a bit more irritating of like, every other floor is the same. Why is my floor different? While you're walking back down the stairs to like, what would Winsler be doing in an attempt to find his room? Are you going around knocking on doors? Are you doing this thing of looking up and down at like the different flights and being like, is it somewhere on here? Did it just get smushed somewhere else? What is Winsler doing? Describe that to me and I'll tell you how it rules out with an 18.
Definitely trying to see like the names on the door, like looking up and down,
Yep.
because that's something that
Yep.
I would do in a situation.
Yes.
Because I don't want to just knock on someone's door
Yeah.
like a creep.
This, if you recall, this 3rd floor does not have name plates on the doors. It just has the room numbers.
Okay.
Shit.
Well, in that case, Windsor's gonna try and find the door that he knows was his room
Yes.
and attempt to open it.
Break
With your
into
key and
another
everything.
room.
Okay.
It's like, this
Um,
is 100% my dorm. I don't like that you
Okay.
did that. I don't like that face you made.
That was really good. And I shouldn't have made that roll. I should have made you made that roll.
Good for
I rolled
you or
D1
good
I
for...
rolled D100. I can
Oh,
use that result
great.
if you'd like.
Oh, great.
I can use that result. Or you could roll, Ben, if you want.
No, I'm gonna
Roll
roll.
some
It's
D100.
okay.
Okay.
I'll roll.
Okay. Okay. Roll some D100 for me. I'll just erase that from my brain as a something that happened then.
32.
32. The key slots into the lock. What room number is yours? Just name any 3, 1, 3, whatever. What room?
314.
3, 1. Wasn't that Fidan's room?
Was it?
I think it was.
Was
yeah.
it?
Yeah, I think it
Fidan
was.
literally
That would
just
be-
completely
we can do
wiped
that,
out your
though.
dorm room.
Oh my god, they were roommates.
So
Oh my
Winsler's,
God.
they were
Retconned.
Okay, so Winsler's room is 314 as well. You walk up to this door. It still stands slightly ajar because you all never closed the door. You just left. But if you wanted, you could either open the door and see if your actual room is in there, or you could close it and put your own key in the lock because the key does fit in the lock.
I'm gonna close it first, and then
Yes,
I'm
a
gonna
nice
insert the key into the lock and
Mm-hmm.
see if that does anything.
Winsler, you close the door. You take out your small iron, like very brutal looking key, very crudely made,
Very crusty.
crusty, a bit of rust on it. You sigh, deflated, shoulders slumped, and try to put the key into the lock. You hear
Locked
the
himself
sound
out.
of you hear what sounds like shattering glass, and the key enters into the lock, and you might turn it, unlocking the door. Would you like to open the room?
I would like to open the door, please.
Okay. You hear again what sounds like shattered glass, and actually falling to the ground, it seems like this door shatters into pieces
What?
at your
The
feet.
fuck?
And through the doorway, you see your room. Slightly cleaned up, still a bit messy. A lot of golem parts lying around.
So wait, is there just no door anymore?
No door. Nope.
It's just
Shattered
What the
into
hell?
a bunch of little pieces of mirror.
what the hell?
Since you rolled so high in your investigation check, as you stand there just looking at these shards of broken mirror on the ground, I think out of the corner of your eye, lying on one of the steps near the stairwell, Winsler, you would see a large amber-eyed cat just watching you.
Did you
Has
do this?
gray fur. Its tail flicks gently back and forth.
I'm gonna pull
Not
up.
smiling, because cats can't smile, but doing something like a cat would be doing to smile, just watching you.
I'm gonna pull up my hat and poke Mr. Wiggles and say, "What do you make of that? What do you make of that cat over there?"
Now, correct me if I'm wrong, Ben. Mr. Wiggles, what does a familiar possess special powers or anything of that matter? But for all intents and purposes, they are just a regular cat. In this case, Wiggles can speak, but he doesn't have he doesn't have magic or anything. He doesn't have superpowers.
No,
Correct me if I'm wrong.
he's just a familiar. He's basically just like
Okay.
a cat, but a magic cat.
Okay. So you poke him. He is awake because it is evening, and this is the hour of Wiggles prowling. He will look at this other cat. They stare at each other for probably 30 seconds, just in sheer silence. You can hear the creaking of the building, the shuffling of many people floors above, maybe some coughs or some sneezes, some snores, and Mr. Wiggles will say, "I haven't seen a single other cat on campus since you started going to this school. That's startling.
That's what I mean. It's a little weird, isn't it?
It's just watching.
I don't like it.
Lots of animals watching you recently."
Yeah, thanks.
He licks his paw and jumps down from your head. Would you stop him if he tried, or do you want to be in charge of Wiggles in this moment? What would he do, Ben? Do you think would he try to approach, or would he just sit here watching, kind of hunched?
He'd probably sit and watch
Yeah.
because we don't
Okay.
we don't know what this cat is. We don't know what its
Okay.
deal is.
Might have rabies.
Okay. As you both sit here watching the cat, it almost looks like it's not really amused anymore now that you've noticed it, if that makes sense. This tail stops flicking. It kind of uncomfortably gets up after a few minutes of just sitting here. And it's sitting in a place that it looks like it wants to get stepped on, if that makes sense. You know cats, right? It's sitting in the middle of
It's
one
gonna
of
be
these
sitting in the
steps.
middle of the staircase like a
Yep,
fucking
just
asshole.
Just laid out, splayed out as much as possible.
Like a
Taking up
trap.
as much space, like a trap. But as you stare at it for a while, Winsler, it will just stand up, kind of stretch quite fiercely, and then hop up the stairs out of sight. Similar to how it jumped through that window when all of you had watched it for too long earlier.
I don't like that cat.
No, you should keep your eyes out for it. I don't trust it.
I don't either. But first, now's not the time to worry about that. There's no door here. So with the layout of the dorms and stuff.
Yeah.
So are the doors facing a ledge?
Are the doors facing a ledge?
So is there a courtyard in the center? And do
Oh.
the doors sort of face it?
It's like a hallway.
Okay.
And the doors are offset, so your door faces someone else, the wall. It's not like the doors face one another. So it's not like someone would open their door and see into your room. They're kind of offset like that.
Okay. How big are the doors?
It's door sized plus a foot or two, fairly tall.
Okay.
Right? 9 foot and fairly wide. It's big enough for Yogg to fit through. Yogg's regular, person sized though.
Okay.
They're
Is
big
there-
enough that Toll could fit through them.
Okay.
Rip.
And you said there was a lot of brass still scattered around the room?
Yep, there's spare golem parts. They've been it's not scattered so much. It's been pretty well organized now that the golem project is done. Kurt has been putting stuff back into its place and been doing a pretty decent job about keeping organized for once. But there is brass, yes.
I'm about to make it very disorganized. 'Cause
What do you want to do?
I am going to cast Fabricate.
Oh, what does that do?
Ooh boy. Fabricate. You convert raw materials into products of the same material. For example, you can fabricate a wooden bridge from a clump of trees, a rope from a patch of hemp, and clothes from flax or wool. Choose raw materials that you can see within range. You can fabricate a large or smaller object contained within a 10-foot cube or 8 connected 5-foot cubes, given a sufficient quantity of raw material. If you are working with metal, stone, or another mineral substance, however, the fabricated object can be no larger than medium, contained within a single 5-foot cube. The quality of objects made by the spell is commensurate with the quality of the raw materials.
Okay, cool. So
I wish to make a brass door.
you can make a very thin brass door. Like
that works
like
for me.
Okay,
like a door is a door.
A couple, like a centimeter or two thick door. And this, you see the metal in these disparate bins begin to like shake and like all the drawers kind of like get pulled out as the metal like melds together and then seems to like, it almost looks like it starts to melt, but it doesn't take on a liquid. It's just like this, like these solid pieces of metal like bending themselves and stretching out to form this like almost patchwork looking quilted door, which then is just laying on the ground, Winsler. Or would it just jump into place? I think maybe that's
I would
more
say,
fun.
and like the whole magic of it, you could like
Yeah.
place it where you want to
I
after
think
you finish
that
with
makes it more fun. Like, so it forms into this door and then gently floats and like lowers onto the hinges that are empty, and you now have a thin metal brass door, which you can walk in and shut behind you.
It does its
Simple.
job.
It does its job. On the desk, which is Kurt's desk, right next to the door, you see a scribbled little note, Winsler.
I want to read the note. What does it say?
It says in a very like childlike handwriting, it says, "Out for walk."
Out for a walk. Okay, so
That's so nice for Kurt to like say that. He's going for a walk.
now I
We
could
did
definitely
just see him in the dining hall, but I just read
Yeah.
a note.
I could definitely discern that this handwriting is definitely not Kurt's.
Yeah, you look at like the scattered math homework around the like desk, and you see that it matches very closely with Yogg's childlike handwriting.
Okay,
That's
so at least this
extremely cute.
confirms that Yogg still exists, which is good.
The ink is fresh.
Okay, so it seems that they
Yeah.
must have left fairly recently. That's fine.
Mm-hmm.
I will have to find them at another point.
Mm-hmm. Okay, but that's okay for the night. You're not gonna go find them right now.
No.
Okay, cool. In that case, we can now, after the evening's events, I can just ask you all, how do you all spend the next week leading up to Autumn's End? What notable things do you do? I know there was a couple small things that we've discussed in this episode about like Serenep. You wanted to have like some study sessions with Philip and kind of fill him in on what had happened. I assume like the whole story, right?
Obviously any avoidance of like what of anything that would
Yeah.
turn him into shattering glass,
Yep,
but
yep.
shows like I'll show him like the hair that happened and like kind of talk about what
Yeah.
happened and like what happened to, like my neck and stuff like that. Kind of talk
Yep.
about, I guess, the discomfort of like I was outside of my body and now I'm in my body again, but I don't feel right, if that makes sense, because everything's just weird now.
Yeah. Ever since when I followed you and Winsler that day, it's been like every day I'll wake up in the morning and feel less and less like myself. Does that sound similar?
I don't know. It's a discomfort I've never really felt before. At least I don't think I've felt before, but definitely don't feel quite the same. And I don't think you've ever told me how you've been doing proper ever since, we got you healed up in the infirmary. How are you feeling right now?
So I imagine the scene taking place in your dormitory, Serenep, like at that like big table that you have. It's probably like or late afternoon after classes, sometime during the week.
She's
Philip
introduced him to the
will-
sweetling.
Yeah, absolutely.
This is my brainchild, literally.
It sits in its pot all day, wiggling and being very excited. It's growing rapidly, but not growing any bark yet, so it's just kind of flopped over at this point and growing along your floor, which might be a bit disconcerting as far as plants go.
I think she would try and build like, you know how like some people will build like put like stilts in the soil to kind of like lift it up a bit more, so that's
prop
not
it up.
Yeah.
Cute. Okay, in that case, it could be like slightly propped up with some dowels or some such thing that you've like acquired somewhere on campus.
Yeah.
But anyways, at this like table, Philip will lean back. He'll like push himself back against like the chair itself, and he'll say, I mean, I don't feel I like I just said, I don't feel quite like myself ever since then. And like that feeling is growing pretty heavily by the day. I feel a lot more in touch with things since then.
In touch
like
with
the campus feels more like home. Everything that I've been learning in class, even though I missed a couple of days, right? Or like a week or so. And then you helped me learn those things, but everything that you helped me with and everything I've learned in class since then, it just feels way more stuck in my head than before. Like, you know, when you would learn something and it kind of just leaves every now and again and you would have to like recall it. And there's that moment where something's on the tip of your tongue, Serenepth, right?
Yeah.
I haven't really been feeling that. It's just kind of there when I need it to be.
Have you talked to somebody? I know last couple of days or anything, like have you
No.
gone back?
No, God no. I mean, like my teammates or my group mates, like Sylvie and Ganal at least, have asked a bit about it, but I've just been like, they just think I was sick, right? Like
Yeah.
a fever or something. Like they don't know the full story, and I don't really want to tell them either. But no, I don't feel like it's necessary to talk to someone about it. It's just, it feels good. It doesn't feel bad or anything.
I know I've already said it a couple of times. Everything that happened to you, I want to make sure that you're okay, and I want you to know, like, if something's wrong or if something's happening because of everything that happened down there, I want you to know that you can talk to me, because I want to help you. And if you're not feeling like yourself, I want to help you in some way.
It's not Serenepth. It's not bad though. I don't feel bad. It's not like, I don't know. It's the same as anything else. Like I feel like I'm growing in a way, not growing like a growth on my person or anything. I don't want to scare you. Like, I don't know. It's difficult to explain. I just feel as though it happened. I've recovered now, and it's definitely making me better at school, right? So
Yeah.
I'm not going to complain about that. I was never like smart like you or Karina or anyone else, right? But like, I think I'm going to do pretty good this time around at the exams. And he'll smile pretty like cheekily at you, Serenepth. It's the intent, I think you can read from this, is that he's trying to subdue a lot of your worry that he can feel, right? Where you feel guilt and all this other stuff.
Is his hand resting on the table or anything like that?
Yeah, it is.
She's going to kind of bring her hand across and kind of hold his hand. Like he's like cheekily smiling and joking, like, hey, maybe I'm going to do really good at the exams. And she's going to put her hand over his, and she's going to say, hey, you're smart. You know a lot of stuff. Let's be fair and say, like, academically, when we were younger, a lot of stuff kind of went over our heads, let's be honest. But like, you're a smart person. Don't put yourself down like that.
Yeah, that wasn't my intention. Sorry. But I'm good. If it starts to go bad, I'll let you know immediately, and you do the same for me, please. Like, if whatever you're feeling keeps happening, tell me about it.
I mean, maybe I haven't reached the recovery section. Maybe I'll reach my recovery and maybe come out of this better. in like a new worldly knowing myself kind of way. I don't know.
You sound like my parents.
Yes,
which is
perfect.
a bit distressing.
I'm
if
so
I'm to be
sorry.
honest with you.
Oh, I'm so sorry that I'm reminding you of your parents now suddenly.
No, I mean I'm excited to see them next week. They should be coming. Or at least my mom. I don't know about both of them.
Is it weird to say that I really miss seeing your mom? You know what I mean?
No,
like
I don't. It's been like almost a year. I think it's perfectly normal to miss the people that you like had a fond interaction with when you were a kid, right?
yeah.
Like I miss my mom. That I don't think that's weird to say. How do you think your parents are going to react to the hair thing?
I've been okay. I've been thinking of different ways to cover it up because I don't really. I like the color, honestly.
Yeah, it looks good.
But I think I don't know how. I don't think it's a good idea that they see it. So I've been thinking either I wear a
Shave
hat.
it all off.
No. Okay. Remember that one time I cut my hair in the bathroom?
Yeah.
And they freaked out. So we're not going to do that. But I've been thinking maybe a nice hat, or if
I think you could do a hat.
oh yeah,
Like pin it up under a hat. That could look really nice.
yeah,
I mean, it would look nice no matter what you do.
oh, thank you. Or like maybe magic.
Magic. Oh, I think that one kind of makes more sense because
Yeah.
we know magic to do something disguisey.
Yeah.
An illusion of some sort. But that would get exhausting, especially with dueling and everything else,
That's
right?
true.
Like you don't want to wear yourself out or use something. I mean, unless the dueling doesn't really matter that much to you. I mean, we can brainstorm.
Is there
How
a
long do you
wig
think it would take you
store
to
at
enchant
Wawa?
something?
Me? Like weeks.
Dang it.
Someone who knows what they're doing. Not so long.
Maybe I can
Um,
find someone who I can ask one of the professors, like, hey, can you put this illusion spell on here to make my hair not like this? And I can probably like wear a turtleneck or something for everything happening neck below.
That's autumnal, right? That's like harvest festival attire.
Yeah.
Turtlenecks and like hats.
Okay, it wasn't my best idea, but
and so for the evening, you and Philip just spitball. You don't get much studying done, but it is a really nice conversation
Yeah.
for the rest of the night before he heads back to his own room. Yeah, that was really nice. Scenes that don't really progress anything, but it's just cute characters talking. Turns out they're
cute.
good. Not everything has to be people getting their arms ripped off or heads cut off and stuff like that. Jeez.
every scene was like that. None of us would have arms anymore.
Brutal dismemberment.
Oh no! It just kept happening one after the other.
Yep, I just couldn't control myself. So that having happened, that's like kind of like one of the things that Sarah up the highlight of your week, I think. Is there anything else that the rest of you get done?
Although this might be impossible, I wish to look for a pickled tentacle and an eyeball in a platinum inlaid vial with at least 400 gold pieces.
Now I think those sound mightily like some spell ingredients, Ben.
Gee, what tipped it off?
Make an Arcana check for me
What tipped it off?
so that you might be able to find them somewhere on campus.
That was a 16.
16. A pickle tentacle?
A pickled tentacle.
That's not too out of the ordinary. Like in the kitchen, I feel
Yeah, but
like that's the thing.
who pickles tentacles?
An
You'd be
avid
surprised, Ben.
I mean,
tentacle
that sounds
eater.
very appealing.
Yeah.
But is it of an octopus or something else?
Yeah, we don't. It doesn't specify
It's just a
any
tentacle.
particular tentacle. It just says a tentacle.
Winsler, one day there's a section of the archives. I want to be
Yes.
very clear about that. That just has like there's a lot of spell scrolls stored here, all this other stuff, and then there's a couple of different subsections that have some of the more spicy ingredients stored, like the non-volatile
You need to tell me
ingredients.
the
Yeah,
archives
yeah.
had just available spell resources on hand.
They have
the
some of them.
entire
Yeah.
time.
They have some of them,
Holy
yes.
shit.
It's like how the libraries have like dishware that you could use.
Holy shit. Wow, I really fucked up by ruining my reputation over there, huh?
So Winsler, you on alert make your way into after like looking through a couple of the conjuration storage rooms that you have access to. You don't have access to any of the other department ones because they're like locked and there's no key, but the conjuration department has no locks, so no issues. But you make your way to the archives where you do know there to be some like very common spell reagents. Like maybe you'll just get lucky, I think is the hope, right?
Mm-hmm.
And as you're like perusing, so it was a tentacle and a container?
It was a pickled tentacle.
Yeah.
And an eyeball in a platinum inlaid vial.
Okay, a platinum vial.
It probably doesn't have to have an eyeball in it.
Yeah.
But it just has to be of a valuable vial.
So you make your way to the pickled section of ingredients.
The pickled section.
There's pickled vegetables of all sorts for different sort of agricultural spells. What other fun pickled things? There's a pickled hand there. That's just very prominently displayed. A couple of pickled brains, these types of things. Those are more for necromantic rites and rituals.
Pickled worms.
There's a bunch of pickled worms, right? And amidst these pickled worms, off in a dark corner of this section, Winsler, you kind of like start rooting through there, seeing as everything seems to be grouped based on its shape.
That is a horrible way to organize.
That's really funny.
The tentacles should probably
Dewey
be by
Decimal
the
System,
worms,
move
right?
aside.
Listen, if you have an issue, take it up with Ava. She's in charge here. As you do this, Winsler, you grab a jar of what looks like tentacles. You hold it up to the sky. It seems to just be like little long fish that have like suckers all along their bodies, like almost like a remora, except if it was all suckers all the way down.
Ew.
Yeah, which they give off the appearance of like pseudo tentacles, right? But it's like one of those things where you like grab it off of the shelf in front of you and are like looking at it, and then when you realize it's not tentacles, you like go to set it back and you look and you see someone staring at you through the bookshelf from the other side.
Ah!
Shh! Don't yell. We're in the archives.
Sorry.
A girl with silvery brown hair, an elf, stares at you through the bookshelf. It looks like she is hunched the hell over to be at your height, Winsler. And it is a face you recognize as a person who infiltrated your zoology class once.
Oh, right. It's them.
Kyra will whisper through this bookshelf and say, "Have you found a book yet?"
What do you... a book? What?
You like scared the hell out of my friend? And she winks, like big wink, and she goes, "My friend whose name we're not gonna say."
Oh, right.
And then I told you, hey, you should get her a book and say sorry.
Yeah.
And now it's been like 8 weeks.
Right. I actually got that book right here. I'm gonna pull out the druidic book.
Oh,
Because it's the only one that I have on hand.
Oh my god.
Winsler being like, "Oh, I totally got you a gift for your birthday."
Winsler is going to cause a paradox.
So, how does this book sound and look? And it's a book.
It's a book. It's definitely a weird looking book. Do you want to go right now? Or are you like busy looking for fish?
Do you know where the tentacles are? The pickle tentacles?
I think you'd have to like get those ordered from the bookstore.
Oh, fuck.
She like walks around the bookshelf at this point. You guys are like at the end of the bookshelf, so she could have just walked around the entire time and just spoken to you. She'll walk around and go, "I think you have to order those from the bookstore itself." She's wearing blue student robes. She has like a very like floral dress underneath and just looks like chilled out. Her face has a bit of dirt on it as if she had been like doing something in the garden earlier. And yeah, it's Kyra. But she looks down at you. You're holding this slate-bound book. It has a very happy elk on the cover. It says Druid Craft in Primordial. And she'll go, "So is that the one you want to give?"
Yeah, sure.
We can do it like right now. Get it out of the way.
Yeah, might as well. I'm here, and I'm considering I'm probably not gonna find what I'm looking for here. Might as well.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, you never know. You might find stuff where you're not expecting to find it.
Yep.
Yeah.
I finger guns.
Me. You found me. I was here. I wasn't following you.
Okay, now I'm feeling that you were following me.
Yeah. It was a weird thing to say. I'm sorry.
So do you happen to own like a cat? Like a cat that just wanders
No,
around that's
I'm not
like
a cat
spying
person.
on people?
No. Well, is there a spying cat going around campus?
Never mind. Never mind. Let's go get this taken care of.
Okay, you're having this conversation as you walk towards like that dark, secluded corner of the archives, the one that the shelves tower above you and almost look like they lean in a bit on the aisles. Like they're just so imposing, you can barely see. There's like these magical orbs of light that float around in the sky here, like little miniature stars that like illuminate everything. But when you're in this kind of like the jungle almost of books, it is hard to even see that light above. And so you're wandering for a while. Do you mention anything? Do you try to make small talk, Winsler?
No. I don't think so.
Okay. She just walk. You just both walk along. She like has her hands in her pockets, just like you can hear the softened footsteps as you walk along the carpeted aisles of the library. And you eventually start to hear what sounds like humming coming from down one of these long corridors.
Mm-hmm.
And Kyra almost like turns and looks and she goes, "Oh, that was really fast. It doesn't normally show up that quickly. So I think she might be waiting for you."
What shows up quickly?
Like the garden. It's not like it's always in the same spot. I don't know if you've noticed, like you've been here for like a year. This place is fucking weird. Like the entire school is just like there's weird stuff happening everywhere. I've spent a lot of times in the archives and I find new stuff here like every week.
Yeah, I know a bunch of weird stuff happens around campus, but I don't come here that often because I don't know if you've noticed.
Mm-hmm.
But I am not very well liked in these parts.
I've heard whispers of it. Yeah.
Yeah, I bet you've heard whispers. It's probably them Modrons that are talking that stuff, you know?
I don't like them that much, to be honest with you.
Don't let them hear you say that. You might get put on public enemy list number 2.
You both like turn and look over your shoulders, and we like the camera zooms very quickly at a single cubic Modron who's like putting books on the shelf and is just staring daggers at the two of you. And you can both just scuttle along very quickly after giving it a wave towards this humming, where the bookshelves seem to have parted and a light is coming from the end of this book-lined tunnel as you enter into what looks like the inside of a greenhouse, but like it is a glass like the greenhouse, but the light is so strong outside that it almost like blows out any image of what might be out there, right? Like there's hints of like what looks like trees out there, as if this is a greenhouse in the woods.
The glare is so strong.
It's just really
beams
strong
of
glare.
light.
If you look at it too long, your eyes start to like hurt and like water a little bit. And there's these large, manicured trees around, these small hedges. All of them have pages where fruit might be growing from them, right? Like small pages from books and other such
so
things.
Weird.
It's very odd. As you walk, there's what looks like a potato plant that has been half pulled up, and little like little notebooks and journals seem to be on the ends of the vines, where the tubers might regularly be. And then sitting in the middle of the garden, like in the dirt and like pulling like weeds and other such things out, is a Ava Redding with this very green appearance, like this almost cyan hair as opposed to the regular brown coloring that you might be used to. And then there's like very green makeup and apparel as well. She is humming, and as you two approach Winsler Wallaby, she will turn around, gasp slightly when she sees you, and then like looking like she's going to do the same thing that happened last time, Winsler, which was scream and ask you to leave and how you got there. But then she sees Kyra standing at your side and seems to relax for a few moments. She still very much has the body language of someone who is very uncomfortable. Like the same body language you might have been if someone like, what's a good way of describing it? Like if someone knocked at your door when you weren't prepared and you're just like, well, can you leave?
Yeah.
And she will say, welcome to my garden.
Howdy. Is this the part where I hand over the book?
Yeah, like hand over the book and like apologize and say, I mean, don't apologize if you're not sorry, but let's hand over the book and like apologize if you want. And she gives Kyra like holds up her hand and like gives you a thumbs up and goes like, yeah, do it.
Okay. I'm gonna pull out the book.
Okay.
From my bag.
Absolutely.
And I'm gonna slowly
Yes.
walk towards her with my arms outstretched to like,
Yep.
here you go.
Yep.
Hi, this is for you. I'm sorry for my previous intrusion.
You see beads of sweat forming on her forehead as you approach her, and she'll like hold out her hands for the book.
I hope you'll accept this gift of apology.
Thank you.
I'm sorry again.
Make a persuasion check, please.
You gotta be fucking kidding me.
Oh no, Ben.
I got an 11.
An 11. Okay. With an 11, that is a bad result. Quite frankly. But because you have the book, it's not just a abject failure here. I wasn't going to do you dirty like that, Ben. So the outcome here is she takes the book from you. She gives it a quick once over. It's written not in common, but that doesn't seem to stop her as she just thumbs through the few pages kept in there. Additionally, there was a piece of bark, Winsler, that you had put in there. Integrity had written all the terms of the contract with Loud. Did you want to take that and keep that, or did you want to hand that over as well?
I want to take that and keep that.
Okay, perfect. She will hand that back to you in that case. And she'll take this and say, as she thumbs through it, she'll say, I've never really seen anything like this ever before. Thank you. And you make me really uncomfortable that you're here, though.
All right, well, but you're welcome.
Yes.
I'm gonna leave now.
Do you want? And she'll hold up the book and say, "Do you want more like this, though?" Because
what do you mean more like that? You can plant it.
Yeah, and grow more of it.
Kyra, is that what she does?
Kyra goes,
does she just like plant books?
Kyra, speaking loudly, not whispering anymore, will go, yeah, that's how I met her. She helped me with my research, so it's actually really handy. I don't know if it's like making information up, because it all seems to be true, but it works. I think it's some sort of magic. And Ava nods profusely.
All right, then go ahead and plant it. It's not my book. Not anymore.
Did you? Oh, like you gave it, not like you stole it.
I gave it to you.
Okay. Okay. And she'll walk over to like a clear space in like that ring of trees around the edge of the greenhouse, and just with a large shovel begin to dig a hole, Winsler, and then unceremoniously drop that book in and cover it in dirt. The mechanical benefit for you, Ben, of actually having done this, when you come back to this place, this greenhouse, in the next year's spring semester, after winter break, there will be a lot more druid and nature-like spells, and then just information on such things if you would want it as well.
We are reintroducing
so cool.
druidism into this plane.
I almost expected you to put like the Lich book here, quite frankly, when you found it months
Why would
ago.
I do that?
I don't know.
I don't want there to be like so much information on how to become a lich. I would rather do this now that I know what it is.
There's a bunch of nature information. She'll tell you that. She'll go, yeah, it should take a season or so, but the tree will grow really fast, and I'll bind the books together for you, and you can take that, and I'll take the rest, and it can go into the rest of the archives.
All right, well, that sounds good. How about in that time I'll just find Kyra again, and we'll both come and see you at the same time, and that'll be it.
That would make me a lot more comfortable. Kyra's, yeah. She didn't just wander in here. I know her. That would be great.
All right, well,
I'm Ava Redding. I didn't introduce myself last time, I don't think.
Nice to meet you. I'm Windsor Wallaby.
Nice to meet you.
Okay, I'll be going now.
Okay, and you and Kyra can leave in that case, Winsler.
Cool.
You don't, unfortunately, find any of your materials. Though now you do know, if you have the money, you could order them from the bookstore.
I don't have the money.
You don't have the money though.
No.
And then return in the springtime, like the start of the semester, and your information will be ready.
Sounds epic.
And if you wanted to give any more books to Ava, that is also an option for you, Ben.
I'll think about it.
Okay.
I'll think about it.
Meanwhile, or for the rest of the week, I guess, does anyone else have a major thing? Like, what's Mira
Well, I think there's
up
two
to?
things. One of the next night we were supposed to have that meeting about the elder.
Yes.
About whether I don't know what's going to go on with that. But
I was planning on doing that next episode because this one's
Okay.
kind of just the general
Yeah.
purpose stuff. Yeah.
But Almira also, I think, wants to speak to Mom Alaro. I don't know her first name.
It's true. You absolutely don't.
actually is
you
Mom.
Just called
Mama
her
Laro.
Mom Alaro. Tell me how you go about finding her. Do you just go to her office and like?
I would probably just go to her office, or like Deldis would probably know like when she was teaching, like when she'd be like going out of a lecture.
Yes.
So I could probably just like wait outside her classroom, and like as she comes in, I could just be like, "Hey, how's it going?" kind of
Okay,
thing.
perfect. If you recall, necromancy classes end early in the afternoon when the gargoyles wake up and start screaming. So in that instance, you sometime during the week show up to the necromancy department early in the afternoon, just before classes are let out. And as the few necromancy students kind of shuffle out of the laboratory, all of them wearing those like leather robes with like the large plague doctor masks, and like they hang them up in the hallway. They're not just theirs to keep. As a side note, the one and only Professor Alaro, a very old looking high elf woman. She has like graying hair near her temples and just a all around kind of pale complexion. But she's very well dressed and like has a fragrant perfume of some sort on. Will be packing up in her lab and then see you and call out and say, "Mira, why don't you come in?"
Hi, Professor Alaro. How was your class?
It was about the same kind of engagement as normal. People like, I don't know, you're probably feeling this. People's attention spans drifting now at the end of the semester. That kind of thing. Like the festival's about to happen.
Yeah.
That's where all the excitement is. These kind of things.
Yeah, I definitely relate. I'm here because I need and I sort of like gesture toward my arm, which is a disaster. And
Yes.
I'm like, several tune-ups.
And she's packing up like this small leather bag that she always carries with her, and she'll look at the arm from across. I assume you've like walked up to her and like kind of like gesture towards your right arm.
Yeah.
It's singed. You can see broken pieces of spring. As you've lived a couple of days with this thing, Mira, it is quite annoying, right? You had gotten used to it being proper and functioning and being passable for most tasks. Now at this point, it's like you can barely open a door with it. Like it can barely grip onto doorknobs, this kind of thing. Like very like minor things that become a bigger deal when something just isn't working properly.
Mm-hmm.
She'll look at it and her expression drops for a second, like almost like she's almost like she was putting on a sociable, like, "Oh, I'm a professor, how are you doing?" kind of act, and it drops for a second and she just like closes her eyes and looks a bit annoyed and will look at you with like a very earnest expression and say, "Are you all right? That looks really bad. I can't fix it up right now, but how about you come by my house, or like you can just come with me right now. I'm going home right now. We need to leave here though, or else things are about to start getting very loud, and I do not want to work in those conditions."
No, all good. Yeah, that's not a problem. I'm fine now. I sort of
Yes.
fell on it very hard after a bunch of stuff, but it's
We
good.
can talk about it.
Yeah. Let's.
Yeah, at home. And as you walk out, you hear just gargoyles being like, "Ah!" Just waking up. And she hurriedly brings you to the concourse, a place that you're familiar with. She gives a couple of, she makes small talk with the person in the booth there, and a small orange crystal is slotted in. The concourse takes the form of a light wooden door. in this stone wall, and she will hold the door open for you, Mira, and say, "After you."
I will enter the Alaro home.
The Alaro home. You do so, and she'll close the door behind you. You seem to be, you first of all, you feel your ears pop. Second, it seems to be very dark wherever you are. You're not sure if it's nighttime or if there's just no light being let into wherever you are, but it's like dark as if it was like midnight, Mira.
Like outside, like the windows are...
Yeah. So yeah, I'll specify what it
Or like the
looks
home isn't
like.
well lit.
The home has like a single oil lamp, like in the center of this room you're in, that is lit and is giving off this yellowish light on everything, like a tungsten style light on everything. And outside, there are no actual windows. It almost looks like you're in a wicker treehouse,
Huh.
if that makes sense. Like suspended high above the ground. You can see it's misty out, like this dark fog, almost as if it's rolled in. It's really humid and kind of cold as well, especially since there's no windows. It doesn't seem to be very well insulated. There's a bunch of nice furniture around that seems to be very artisanally crafted. And the only light that is coming from the outside amidst the darkness is like there seems to be small bugs, like almost like firebugs, that are blinking this like blue and purple kind of colors and landing on different leaves here and there. The house seems to be like very nicely decorated, Mira. Like not extravagant, but compared to someone like Artis's home, who you've been in and has a very similar aesthetic to this is just a much nicer decorated version of that same kind of style, if that makes sense.
Okay.
Yeah. There is so it's almost like a bunch of breezeways, if that makes sense. Like there's these open archways where there would be windows in a conventional home, but it's just open here where you can see the woods around. It does seem like you're in the deep forest as well, to be very clear about that. Alaro will put her like teaching materials and like tools and things like on a bench when she enters and take off like her professor's robes and hang those up, and will greet you inside the house and let you sit down and everything. And she will ask, "Oh, before we get into anything, do you want something to drink? Anything like that?"
No, I'm good on drinks. If you had any bread pudding in the cold box, I would gladly eat some. But no, I think I'll be okay.
I mean, if you're not doing anything tonight, I have the ingredients on hand. Ever since that conversation, I could make something if you had time.
I do have time. That would be nice.
Okay.
Thank you.
A nice impromptu dinner is nice every now and again. It's nice to have visitors. You're the first person to step foot in here in a couple of years, so I apologize if it's a bit unwelcoming.
No, it's beautiful. Where are we?
We're somewhere in the far, far north. I couldn't give you exact point on a map. I lucked my way into owning this home when I was a very young woman. I won a really lucky bet.
Well, it's beautiful. Thank you for inviting me here.
No, it's no issue. It's more comfortable to do this kind of work in a place that you're not surrounded by others. I think that and she's like kind of moved over to, there's a small kitchen area, and she seems to be beginning to prepare things. You see she does pull out a brown bottle that has this dark yellowish brown kind of liquor looking in it, and she pours a glass for herself, but none for you, as you did not want any. A port of some sort, and she will kind of like be talking to you while she's doing these things, and she'll say it's nice to do this kind of work in a place where you're comfortable, especially when you're helping someone out who I don't know how to explain it, but helping with your prosthetic and getting those things done in a place where you might feel uneasy, like the necromancy department, especially at this time of day in the necromancy department, isn't always the greatest thing.
Yeah, I heard the screaming as we were leaving. That doesn't sound good.
No, it's terrible. And for many years, the necromancy department has asked the administration to remove those statues, but they refuse to do so. Maybe that'll change in the next couple of years with a new headmaster, but I strongly doubt it.
With Crow, right?
Yes, Headmaster Crow.
Right. Okay.
Did you not attend the headmaster ceremony?
No, I was there, but we got interrupted in the middle. One of the people working on the council is weird, and so we had to.
Yes,
it was a whole thing.
That's the way it goes. Yes, Mira.
Uh-huh.
But yes, when I had done work on Artis's fingers, we did that in his home as opposed to the necromancy department. It's more comfortable that way. How are you feeling? It's been a few weeks.
Yeah, I had a weird field trip. I have a bunch of things to ask you about in terms of that. It was a very what do you know anything about like bodies and souls? I know that's like not really your whole area of focus, but I figure because you know so much about this, you might like know stuff about like other necromancy things also. Like if there was a soul and it was in the wrong thing instead of in its body and there wasn't a body to put it in, do you know how you would go about putting it in a body or in the right body or fixing a problem like that?
That's a very advanced necromancy question. You're right. That's not my area of focus per se. But such things are covered in any comprehensive necromancer's education. Moving a soul from one body to the other, it's not a ghost situation, is it? That's out of my wheelhouse entirely.
I don't think it's like a ghost situation. It's if somebody's soul were in, I don't know, like let me think of something crazy, like a pebble or something, and it wasn't in a body.
A pebble or something.
Or something, yeah.
Yeah, or something, yes. I know of some cultures out further west. The Flax Eyes, I think, are particularly notorious for this. We had a former headmaster, actually, within my time here as a professor, who had her soul transferred into a totem. That's a sort of death rite for their clan, is to transfer the soul into totems and store them in mausoleums of a sort. So something like that is entirely possible to move from one body into a inanimate object and inhabit such a thing as an inhabitation of such as that. I know there's also higher order magics that you can replicate your own soul across multiple incarnations of yourself, like a cloning of sorts.
Okay, that maybe is what I don't know.
Or there's methods of pulling your soul out of your own body and traveling or projecting to other places in the different planes. That's something that astral projection is. But all of those things hinge on a willingness of the person who's having their soul moved.
Right.
I assume you've also taken ethical courses in your first year here, but it's a large part of necromancy is not disturbing the dead or upsetting their souls, moving their souls.
About that.
When they go, oh, yes.
I also have another question. If somebody, okay, this is gonna sound very dumb. If somebody dies, I mean, I know there's a way to bring somebody back if they die, but what if somebody dies and their body isn't like fixable? Like what if there's something wrong with their body so you can't put them back into their body because their body wouldn't manage to sustain life? Is there something that you could do to fix a situation like that?
Resurrections of a sort. Again, that's very high order magic that you're asking about, Mira. She looks very conflicted for a moment, and she has been like sorting everything out, preparing bread puddings. Are you going for a savory or a sweet here? What would you prefer?
I think this is a sweet bread pudding kind of evening.
Okay, perfect. So there would be likely some dried fruits or some sort of syrup involved in this as well. She has a whole bunch of stale as hell bread that she's been prepared for this day for many weeks.
The best
and she
kind.
will look very conflicted and kind of like look up at you for the first time, Mira, as she'd been kind of idly just answering your questions. And she'll say, I don't make a habit of asking people's business. I don't really care what happened to your arm or, again, what happened to your prosthetic. But bringing people back from the dead is a very complicated issue. Moving people's souls around is a very complicated issue. Can you provide me any more details?
Yeah, and I think that Mira is sort of like fiddling like with the sort of the edge of her robe, and she's like, I did something pretty bad and I didn't mean to, or I think it was bad. It seemed bad. There was a situation when we were in the plane of Isithil and somebody was trying to, someone was going to die, and I know how to do it, but I promised that I would be able to, and then she did, but she couldn't. I tried to bring her back, but it was not good. It was very bad, and I would like to fix it, even though she was bad. It doesn't matter because the thing I did was bad, and I didn't mean to do it, but I would really like to fix it. If that makes any sense to you at all, Professor Laro.
Yes.
Okay.
She takes a glass from one of her like cabinets and will pour some of this amber liquid, Mira, and will push it over towards you and will say, okay.
I will.
So this is
take it.
This is very serious. You should, yes, drink some of this.
Yes, please.
There's ways to heal mortal injuries to the dead, and as so long as a soul is willing to come back from the afterlife, there's magics that can do that. They are they're very heavily regulated, at least in our academic sphere. Make a persuasion check.
Okay. Oh no. Well, that's a 1 plus 7, so that's a total of an 8.
Yikes.
She will look at you very sadly, Mira, and say, I cannot in good conscience point you towards any of those sort of things.
Oh.
Or anyone who would have those sort of skills, unfortunately.
Oh, well, okay.
The best I could do, because the best I can tell you is just that those type of things exist in the world. But oftentimes when it comes to a situation where someone has died, Mira, this is a horrible situation.
Yeah.
And I wish I could help you more than this, but just because of my position and because of oaths sworn on my part, I can't. I'm afraid.
No, I understand. Thank you, Professor Laro. Have you ever been in a situation like that? Not exactly like that, but where you were trying to help someone with magic and it did the opposite. Like, have you ever been like? I don't know. What do you do when that happens?
What do you do? You just have to live with those moments, I think. Unfortunately, there have been many times in my own life that something similar has happened. When I was a much younger person, I was much riskier than I am now. And there are many mistakes I made that I wish I could take back before I had any real understanding of the power and weight that this magic has, thinking that I can bring people back from the dead. There will be no repercussions. Those were mistakes, Mira. And I live with those now, and many more that aren't as serious, but you live with them, and there are lessons to learn from, and they are things that you can look back on when you're old and say, I don't have a good answer for you. There's many things in my life I wish I could take back, and I hope that I can prevent you from making some of those same mistakes. But it sounds like you've already had one such, and
yeah,
I know how that feels. When I was young, I prompted a very old lover to try jumping across a chasm. It was a tiny thing, right? I don't know if your parents or you ever spent much time in the woods as kids, but you dance around and jump from tree to tree, and it's a fun thing to do when you're young, right? When you think you're invincible.
Yeah.
And so
Of
I
course.
convinced this person to try to jump this chasm. I don't think it's too far from where Wildcliff is either, just a few miles north. And they fell, and I thought that there was something I could do to bring them back to life. But I just extended their suffering for hours upon hours. And that's a moment that those hours, that day, has stayed with me for a very long time. It prompted me to take less risks, as old as that make me sound. And I can still see their body splayed out on the ground in my mind.
I'm sorry.
So that's what the drink is for, and
Right.
you'll live for a long time and have many happier days than that, and learn from those mistakes. Do not go and try to bring this person back. Just let it have happened and move on. Please
Right.
promise me that.
Okay. Okay, I promise.
Okay.
Thank you, Professor Alaro. I'm sorry that happened to you, but thank you for telling it to me.
No problems. Also, you're in my home. You can just call me Alma. It's weird to be addressed very formally.
Oh. Okay. Thank you, Alma.
No issues. So should we look at your arm in that case?
Yes.
And we can
yes,
talk about more light and palatable
that's
things.
Good idea. Yeah.
And so, while the food, Sarah, I'm gonna cut this bit. How does bread pudding cook? Does it just like stew and then it's a baked kind of good, right?
Yeah, I think you mix like your
It's
egg
like
wash and then you bake it.
egg
I
and-
think.
Have you
Yeah.
not made bread pudding before?
I've never made it either.
It's
My
like
mom makes
I've
it.
never
it's
made
like
it either.
Stale bread soaked in a dairy or like
Sam,
cream
help.
or milk.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
then-
And then it
Yeah.
bakes in the oven, and depending on
Yeah.
how long you bake it, either the
Yes.
stale bread absorbs all like the liquid, and you have
Okay.
some extra liquid outside to kind of hold it all together into like a nice pudding. Or you could cook it a little bit less and have it be a little bit more runny.
This is why Sam won the Bake Off episode.
My mom.
So while this bakes, Alma helps you with your arm. She begins by just mending the surface so that it is clean. I think she would make many comments about how similar you and Artis are in the fact that you're not keeping things clean, and reinforce that you need to keep this clean as possible. It's a lot of expense down the road if it's not kept clean, okay?
Yeah, I do normally clean it, but then we were in the sewers and it's different. It's a whole thing.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yep,
I'll
don't-
be careful.
Yes. And then begins like taking out different components and replacing the ones that have broken, these sort of things. Over the course of like the time you spend there, I think the food gets cooked. You can eat that. You can make more small and pleasant talk.
Yeah.
And she can fix your arm, and you drink and eat and speak together for the night. And that's where we can end this episode.
I've been going for
on a
2
bit of a
hours.
sad note. That was really long, and I'm sorry, folks. Lots of downtime. Carla.
It's good scenes. It's a good collection of scenes.
Yeah. Carla, can you do the outro for us?
Sure, I can. Thank you all so much for listening to this week's episode of Trials and Trebuchets. Please don't forget to leave a rating and a review on our iTunes or wherever you listen to our podcast. It really means a lot to us. And if you don't want to comment because you're just not that kind of person, please share us to your friends or to other people who you think might enjoy this wonderful podcast and the stories that we do tell.
Yes.
We also have our Instagram and Twitter at Trials and Trebs. You can find the link to that as well on our, or like in the podcast.
In the episode description? Yes.
Yes, that's the word, the description. On our Instagram or Twitter, you can see updates, you can see teasers before the episode comes out, and it also reminds you that the episode is out so that you can listen to it.
Yes,
Okay?
it does.
And we also have a Patreon, and the link for that can also be seen down in the description box and also on our Twitter and Instagram. And only if you have the money.
Yeah, if you have the means to support us, it's really appreciated.
Yes, so we are not forcing you. It is only if you are able to and you want to. Those are 2 requirements, okay?
The way you say it makes it sound
Good
like in the
requirements.
past we forced them to, and now we've been like, hey, actually, sorry everyone.
Well, I just wanted to make
We're retracting
sure.
our statements.
I just
Yeah.
want them to feel that they are not being forced, and it just helps us keep up with the cost of the podcast and also keep up with the cost of living.
Yes.
Living is so
And last
expensive.
but not the least, we have a Discord server that you
is
can
true.
join. There's a bunch of cool people there. You can talk to us if you want to talk to us, because sometimes we're there, sometimes we're not. But if we're there,
Yes.
the other cool people in there are fun to talk to. So do that. Bye.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you everyone for listening to this week. Sorry it was a fucking chonky
you.
episode. Bye.
Chunky episode.
Bye. Large episode.